My injury was caused by Tommy.
I don't remember any of
But
this.
the problem
No,
was
none
I
of
didn't know
this.
where. And Pastrana was trying to get me to be the first ever 12-year-old to backflip. And then I go, yee, and I go hit the ramp, and I go, and then I just couldn't commit. I was so scared.
I haven't seen you on TV yet.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Against The Rut, a brand new World Dirt Collective podcast. I'm Billy Balls. I'm driving my two good mates, Tommy Searle and Dean Wilson, and together we're going to dive into all things dirt bikes.
How we doing, lads? It's good to join you. This is something new for us, and I think we have lots to talk about. Good banter, and yeah, we'll see. How you doing, Tommy? Billy, what's happening? What's new?
Just been listening to Billy do that intro. We're in it though now, and not been up to much. Trying to set this desk up. Been to IKEA this morning. Got a new
big day, Tommy.
desk.
Heavy investment going into this podcast on behalf of Tommy
Rode
Searle.
microphone. No stone unturned, as they might say with this podcast. But I'm happy. Nice to be on with you boys.
Billy boy, what's happening?
I'm busy. My season's been a bit all over the place this year. Like, we had 2 rounds in May, June, and then 3 months of races, but no rounds of the World Championship. So that kicked off again last week. Did a race in Italy, and actually did a win as well, so it went really well. And then got around this weekend in Spain, so it's pretty good. Quite a lot of the British guys stayed out in Spain from Italy last week, so it's been busy. Had a few people to ride with, which has been nice. And yeah, just gearing up for a busy couple of months, really.
You've been doing a lot of traveling, eh? You've been all over the place.
Yeah, that's just my life. It seems to be constant travel, but
yeah,
it's all right.
Same here, mate. Same here.
Dean, me and Billy were talking the other day about who's done most races, but you might have done most traveling out of anyone.
Yeah, it's been mad. I've just been do a bit of a worldwide schedule now, getting older, and I've made a schedule for myself where I'm not doing that every weekend grind, but I raced the Brazil Supercross series, raced the UK series, and then I'm going to be going to Australia here. What people don't understand is flying takes the most out of you. I feel like out of anything. It's like the jet lag and everything. It's rough, but
just covering your bases, collecting all currencies, just in case there's a civil war breaks out in any country. You just got a safe full of multiple currencies on the go.
Yeah, he come over, took all mine, and then he left there. Now he's gone Australia.
Brazil. He cleaned out in Brazil, I see, and I actually listened to his last lap shenanigans in Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil was a mad one as well. It was I've been kind of injured all summer, but yeah, just dealing with a lot. So it's cool to get that win in Brazil. You know how it is, Tommy. We don't win like we used to, so we take those wins when we can get them. But it was cool to win the British. Then I won Brazil. I lost that Arena Cross World Tour, which was a bit of a shame, but all is well. All is well. Yeah, again, I got a concussion. In yeah, me and Tommy. Funny enough, my concussion was.
Whoa, hold there, because we're going to talk about injuries. So let's just tell everyone we're about to embrace into the topic of injuries, because.
I know we're diving in there quick. We're diving in there quick.
No, but that wasn't really about injuries. That was like,
well, it's leading into injuries because you both decided to injure yourself on the same night.
Same race, yeah.
So it might as well start with injuries.
My injury was caused by Tommy. I was out leading the race. I was having a lovely race out front. Things were looking good. I was in the lead, and then Tommy had a very, what would you call that, Tom? Like a flaky situation where he just picked up a tough block in his rear wheel through the whoops, goes a few more corners, thing locks up, Tommy ragdolls. So they red flagged it, and I'm on the start line, and obviously I'm concerned for Tommy, but then I see him walk by and he gives me a thumbs up. I'm like, oh, brilliant.
I don't remember any of this.
The problem was he didn't know where he was. And then, there he goes on the ambulance. He goes to the hospital and had a broken back, which we'll get into. But so then I go out.
Was it a full restart, or did they make the race
full
shorter?
Restart? So I started 6th, had to come through the pack, was catching the leader, made a silly mistake, crashed, knocked my head. I didn't even know where I was. And I also got an ambulance ride. Me and Tommy are both in the hospital in Abu Dhabi.
I don't think Dean needed the ambulance ride as much as
No,
what
I
he
didn't. I didn't need the ambulance, but they were
He
pretty
went back to
persistent
hospital
on it.
3 times, and each time they told him there's nothing wrong, and he was like, I'm just gonna go back again and just see, because it's not right. And then they told him each time, you're fine, mate, just go back home.
Well, the problem was I had to race the next weekend in Brazil, so I had to either make the decision whether to fly home or go to Brazil. I mean, I hit my head pretty good and I hurt my hip, but anyways, we went to Brazil, raced that, and all good. But yeah, man, been an adventurous summer for sure.
And he's both back in one piece since here.
Yeah, we're back to a winning ways, isn't we? Straight back to the top, Dean.
Yeah, I was more impressed with Tommy's though. Tommy impressed me. Not what you have a couple of days on the bike, and then you won that one. I don't know the round, the name of it, but you had pressure the whole time. Old boy had some fight. It was good. That was real good.
I think I come back fresher than I went out. So no bike time, just coming. I don't know, really. It didn't really affect me as much as I thought when I come back. 6 weeks I was off the bike, broken back.
What was your first race back?
Landrake, or a British Championship, obviously, to the people watching from abroad. So I just race a British Championship now, but it was Landrake, and I missed one round and then come back and managed to win the round straight off the bat, which was quite a surprise even to me at my age.
I know, did my knee last year and I had chronic blisters.
No, I got a trick for that. I got a set of handlebars with some grips in, and I just sit there, just burning them up. I'm not even joking.
He's got all the tricks when it comes to...
I've got bad shoulders, bad everything, and there's so many parts that I've hurt along the years that I think it's not worth hurting them. Just get warm. So I warm up for so long, but I also sweat quite quickly. So I'm dripping. Everything's soaked by the time I get out on track. I've warmed up that much, and everyone just makes fun of it because I'm literally warming up all day.
But I actually think that is more normal. That's like it's...
In any other sport, it's more normal.
That's what people do in more sports, but it's just our sport. And
still, like a sprinter would warm up for an hour before they race. Because our hands get so hard, like we have calluses all on like the insides of our hands from riding, which we sort of want. And then when you don't ride, and then say, I don't know, whatever, you go on holiday, your hands get soft. So when you come back, you get a blister. But then the problem is the blister then will stop you riding for like, say for Dean, he'll want to jump on a bike and he's got to ride his Supercross 4 times in a week. If he gets blister on day 2, then he's like, I sort of need to have 5 days off to tape it up, or it just annoys you. So I will like give myself blisters when I'm not riding. So when I come back, I don't have to take a day off because I got a blister.
I've never been too bad on blisters, to be fair. My hands have always been somewhat decent, but no, it's smart.
Effortless flow you've got on the bike. That's why you don't really hold on.
Yeah, definitely. Not racing these SMX races. The effortless flow's not been there. But jumping into that, have you boys been watching the SMX? What do you reckon?
I haven't seen you on TV yet.
You'll see me in the back landing on tough blocks doing a front flip. That's about the only TV I get.
That's the same as me nowadays.
No, I haven't watched much of it, to be honest. I've had a race I actually watched the first round. I did see that you made it in through the else. You have to go to the wild card every week, and I've seen you made it in on the last position on the first week, but that's about as far as mine.
Nah, second last position, mate. We made a last lap pass, but it's stressful doing that SMX. Like I only did 5 US rounds, so they combine Supercross and motocross together, and they take the top 30. And so I only did 5 US Supercross rounds, and I ended up 32nd in points, but with guys injured, blah, 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 they invited me to race it. So you look at the payout, and if you just get 22nd place, it's 25 grand plus per round payout. So you make about 35 grand. And I was like,
oh, really? Even for that position? Because I was thinking that today. What is it?
When I went to the first round, I actually wasn't going to race. I was just going to do practice. But then in timed qualifying, I kind of like surprised myself. I was like, I'm right there in times where I need to be. So I ended up racing, and we did the first one, and I was just cruising around at 80%, and I was in 15th the whole race. Ended up 16th, but like had guys in front of me. I was like, that was all right, to be fair. So then the second round is double points. So that's where you want to do well. And for me, I had to go through the LCQ again. Crashed, landing on a tough block, first lap of the first main, hurt my knee, rolled around the second race, so I got like no points. So this weekend I'm showing up to Vegas trying to rehab my knee.
So no points at all?
I got like 2 or 4 or something. So I'm 23rd in points. 23rd.
One place out of the money.
Yeah, exactly. But Prado's one in front of me. So realistically, I just need to make it into the main, crack a couple top 18s or something, and we'll be...
So technically, he could still get overall SMX payout money without actually... Well, obviously, he's not going to now because you're going to end up with more than a point. But technically, he could have still got the big payout from not even doing a single round.
Exactly. So I was talking to Jet. Yeah, I was talking to Jet Lawrence last week, and he said when he won SMX on the 450 his first year, he started off Supercross on the 250. Yeah. So when he went into SMX, he still had 250 points, and he still made, I mean, it was $2,500 because obviously he got shuffled back, but he still got that money without even racing the 250 on SMX. He says it kind of hurt the gut a bit. He says, yeah, that year I made 1.2 million, and then he was like, oh, and then I got another 2,500 from the 250 class.
That was just from SMX.
Just from SMX, yeah.
That's a lot of money for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I've already made $7.5 grand just from the purse payout per round. I haven't even, and then once I hopefully get a somewhat decent overall.
Well, even the races, even the results you've had this time, it's added up to 7.5.
Yeah, so the thing is so for 450, like Jet, make it, or whoever winning the 450 race is 100 grand from the, not from Honda.
Oh, I didn't realize that was how much it was per round as well.
So if he was to just say it's not happening because Hunter won the last round, but just make it he won all 3 rounds, he'd make 1.3.
So wow, I didn't realize that. Money. I sort of thought it was like 10 a round, and then big championship bonus. That's nuts.
Yeah, no, it's real good. So anyways, that's why I signed up. A little bit of good money and get ready for Australia.
So while we're talking about like other pros, that seems like a good time for us to start bringing up some of the headlines from this week. So one thing I saw was this 720 from Clinton Moore, the 37-year-old guy. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen it. Oh, actually, I may have.
I thought Pastrana did that.
Well, he was crashed, didn't he? At X Games, did his hip. That's right. It was called a TP7 or 720.
Yeah, a TP roll or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if he actually landed it properly, but that I'm not going to lie. FMX isn't really my forte. Since Nitro Circus 2, that was about when I signed out of FMX.
I dabbled in it a bit as a kid with a no-handed landers and that.
Yeah, I used to like a no-handed lander as a kid.
Did you ever do it? Did you ever try a knack as a kid and your other foot slips off? You do a double knack and then you just
land 2 feet off.
You lied when you said freestyle isn't your forte. You like a bit of freestyle.
Well, yeah, my own freestyle. Not I don't dabble in the
720s,
720 business, but I'll do a.
You've done a backflip.
Lander.
Yeah, he's done a backflip on a trials bike.
I've done a backflip. That was a long time ago.
The legendary Billy Bolt clip when he was on the rise was that OG clip coming up the hill, and what was it? Did you
stoppy? It was like a stoppy up a hill to like I don't even know. It'd probably be like a 1.8. Like it did a full spin, but half of it was on the front wheel and half of it was in the air.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I said something and you were like, all right, settle down just because you've had your first big Instagram clip or something like that.
I don't even know. I can't think of it.
I remember that day distinctively. It was the day, maybe 2 days after that clip.
Would you guys ever want to get out to Pastrana Land?
The thing with Travis is he always baits you into doing something. Well, back in 2005, when Pastrana did his first ever double backflip, it was in Spokane, Washington. And I was on a YZ85 and we were actually in the process of moving from Canada to California. So I was riding and I was jumping that ramp that Pastrana did the first ever double backflip on Nitro Circus. And Pastrana was trying to get me to be the first ever 12-year-old to backflip. And he gave me the whole stood in front of my bike, gave me the whole you know, he's standing in front of the thing. And he's like, you know, you just need to lean back. And I was like, yeah. And then I go, yeah. And I go hit the ramp and I go, and I just couldn't commit. I was so scared. I was like, I can't do it. I was racing the US Open like a few weeks later, and he says, here, give me your bike just to show you your bike can do it. Hops on my YZ85, hits the ramp, and does a backflip on my YZ85. And he's like, no cameras, no cameras.
What a story. I remember that jump from the video. It's like a step up with a proper sandy landing.
And all his mates were like lawyers and stuff like that. And there was like lawyers, like he was getting them to do backflips. Like everyone was doing a backflip. It was like it was nothing.
So now we have Stark's racing World Supercross. Vince Fraser signed for him. You've had a couple of run-ins with him, Dean.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially with Vince on it. He keeps it exciting. We've had a few run-ins, and yeah, he's going to be silent but deadly on that thing. Vince is a really good
match made in heaven.
Yeah, so Vince is a really good starter. So it's going to be interesting to see how much better his starts are on the Stark, because tell you what, as you know, Tommy, the Starks absolutely rip off the start. There's no clutch, there's no shifting. So that little bit of milliseconds we take to shift and use the clutch and all that, there's none of that. Like, I do believe, I could be wrong because I've never ridden one, but I don't think it's as good in the whoops, because I think you get more wheel spin and you don't have a clutch. So I rely on my clutch when I'm going through the whoops. So when things go sideways, I pull it in just a little bit and it straightens the bike back out, and you don't have that on the start. But when they're exiting the corners, it's just so I don't know what the word would be, like responsive, where like it just goes. There's, like I said, there's no shifting, and that's a huge advantage, is not having to shift. What's your thoughts?
Very similar, because it's just so different. And I agree with you. It's not that they're better or worse. I do think they have a huge advantage on the start, like it's night and day. But then obviously they do have like disadvantages on the track, whoops, like you said, a few other things. But the main thing, whether there's advantages or not, I just think it's going to upset some people.
I raced one around a university campus in Chile and I got smoked. It was like a head-to-head thing, and we come through these glass doors and did like a 90-degree corner and went up a slight incline, which was like the footpath. And it was at that moment I realized, like, in certain situations, these things are unbeatable because they're just like instant. Whereas I had to like upshift twice, like whilst wheel spinning, and then get on the brakes and then downshift once to do another 90-degree corner at the end of this footpath. This thing was just like, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is too, though, it's good for them to be out in World Supercross to really have a test trial, see where they're at. Is it worthwhile? Should it be allowed? They're not really going to know until they really put it to the test.
If it's given people jobs, mechanics jobs, riders jobs, I think ultimately it can't be seen as a bad thing. And like from what we experienced, like in our indoor championship, the Super Enduro Championship at the start of the year, like they make the effort they put in is clear. Like they have a really professional setup, like good team. They're two, even though the main one of the riders went out on the second round, they had like a replacement or like different replacements. So they had two bikes there at all times. Like they put a big effort into being there.
Yeah, I agree. And then even as the bike itself, like our mate Ed, he's got one. And
Ed loves it. That's a good point.
Fun. Yeah, he loves it.
I think for a lot of people, it generally does make riding a bike so much easier and more accessible.
Yeah, I just think the problem is when you're going to get to a race and you put a rider like Vince on it and he's going to rip a whole shot, then it makes life harder, and then that's when it's going to cause a bit of upset.
Well, like I honestly said, if I was a fan in the stands, I would, I've unfortunately been on the wrong end with Vince too many times. He's just so unbelievable at starts, so he doesn't even have to be on a start. How is he so good, Tom, at starts? Because you're someone that's really good at starts as well. And how is he just consistently still good? Because when he races Supercross, he doesn't qualify out of the heat top 5. He's, 7th through 9th where they take. So he doesn't have the best gate pick every time. And he still comes out top 3 in the main event. almost every time. So what, like, how is he just like, no, he's going to hole shot? How's he so good on the start?
Tommy doesn't give
but he's
start
going to be
tips
even
away.
better now.
I could fix him, but then say nothing more. He's keeps his cards close to his chest when it comes to
About
starts.
Yeah, he doesn't
starts.
like the secrets out.
Yeah.
No,
He
you
just
laugh
likes
at
to
my
give it the big
starts. Dean just texted me after the weekend, just put, wow, just 200% into that start at the weekend.
When I watch Tommy starts, he's a good star, but I tell you what, there is no lack of effort. There is every ounce of his body is trying to get that start. He's forward, he's back, he's crunching, he's clutching, he's throwing, his legs are off. Oh, he makes it happen though at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. But what do you reckon?
Yeah,
Why
Vince
is he so good at starts?
He's not putting the effort I am. He's just good.
Mm-hmm. Is that clutch set up?
He's
or
not
is
going to
that
tell
like
anything. He doesn't give start.
No, I don't know myself. I just drop the clutch and hang on. Like I literally just drop it as hard as I can and do everything I can to just keep it straight and just go forward. So rarely do I go off balance. That's why my head's there, then my arm's there, then my leg's there. But then I'm not sure how Vince does it. He starts completely different to anyone else. I think his feet are behind the foot pegs, aren't they?
I'm not sure, but he does start upright. He does the upright, and then when he dumps the clutch, he goes forward. Is that
I do that.
You do that as well? I can't do that.
Big fan of that.
Right, anyway, moving on from Stark Talk and the rest of the news points for the week, we'll go back to the original main topic of the podcast, which was meant to be injuries. And I think it's quite fitting, used to being on here. You've done your fair share. I have as well, to be honest, but you just really rack them up. What have you been dealing with of late, Dean?
I got a bulging disc in my back, which I've never had before. I just came out short on a triple, didn't crash or nothing. And I thought I broke my back at first. And went and got MRI, and it was a bulging disc in my L4 and L5. And what is that,
that's
5 months?
That's near the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, lower lumbar. So
right at the bottom,
it's been one of those things where I had to go get epidural injection, which helped a lot, but it's the sciatic nerve that it hits, so it runs down your leg, and it's just the biggest pain in the butt that you can have. It's just, you want to train and do your normal routine, and then you'll feel good one day and you'll do that, and then it starts hurting, and then it puts you back again. But it's nothing too crazy. Like, I can still get by, and then obviously just I have a really bad knee that's holding on by a thread, and it's been like that for years. I've done 5 ACLs on my left knee, 1 on my right. And I've got an artificial ACL now that I actually had to fly to Canada to get, because they don't do it in America. And with this artificial ACL, it's actually quite interesting because you can come back from an ACL in 3 to 4 weeks on the bike with this artificial ACL. It's called the Lars ligament. And it's a bit like a it's like a thick shoestring type of material. So that's what's in my knee now. And I just struggle with my knee because I have no meniscus, cartilage. So it's just, I knock my foot like once hard off the ground. It's just the bones clash. And like, I actually have that right now. I did it last weekend. So yeah, injuries is part of the sport, unfortunately. I think my career would be a lot different if I never did my knee so many times, but it's the way she goes, and it's part of it. And it's tough for sure to come back from them. You know, you work hard and you get to a certain level, and then you get hurt, and then you're back down here, and then you try bring yourself back up, and then you get hurt, and it's hard, and then you're juggling trying to keep your factory right, and it's very tough. And Tommy's been through it a lot as well. I remember Tommy had a big one in Thailand, I want to say.
2 big ones in Thailand. I done my wrist here in Thailand 1 year.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at that. I don't look well. And then my back the other year, because you come to England shortly after to do your knee. The bike actually stopped on the takeoff of the biggest jump on the hottest day because the fuel was that hot. The fuel was boiling in the tank. So I come up the takeoff as this big jump, bike bog, just like, bleh. And then anyway, I've gone over, broke my wrist. And then the year later in Thailand, or in Qatar, I broke my thumb, take my thumb up to race. This was on factory KTM because I'm like, I've got this opportunity, like you said, trying to keep your ride. And it was in the first race on the following weekend in Thailand, I crashed on my own for some reason. I still don't really know why I crashed on this jump because takeoff was pretty normal. But I've ended up going over the handlebars and then broke my back. And you might think, oh, you've made it, you're on a factory team, but there's level of stress that we have to go through to try and keep our ride in that situation. Because you don't really like we all know our injuries are going to heal, like whether it be a knee, if it be a broken bone, like it will heal. Like Dean said, he knows the process, but it's the stress and the anxiety that goes with that to follow your future along. Difficult.
Bill, you had any big ones?
Yeah, quite a few. My left foot doesn't really work that well. I had drop foot, well, like 100% drop foot for like a year, and then surgery on the nerve to try and get it going again, and that like it flickers a little bit, but yeah, I don't think it'll ever work kind of normally. That was quite early on in my enduro life. Well, I just won my first world championship actually, 2018 World Enduro Super Series, and then was getting ready for the Super Enduro Championship. And I felt really, really good. I came second the year before, my first year doing the championship. And then the week of the first round of the 2019 Super Enduro Championship, I had a crash, came up short on a jump. And as I went to step off got kicked, went over the front and was coming up short. So I stepped off the bike and probably would have been fine had the bike not the way it hit the ground, it rebounded up and then landed directly on top of my back. So then I've took another step, staggered forward with the bike on top of us, and as man took this next step forward with the weight of the bike on top of us, my legs just kind of collapsed underneath us. And yeah, that was pretty minging, because one thing I learned whilst that was going on is not a lot of doctors know anything about nerves or will have got a clue basically. And then even when I went to see a nerve specialist 10 months later, even he was like, humans don't really know much about nerves. And I'm just all right, sick.
What he did though.
Yeah, he did. Obviously he did. He carried out the surgery. That my foot didn't work at all until I went and seen him. So I started riding. Actually went and rode for on the team photo shoot, which was 2 weeks before the first round of the outdoor championship for 2019, and that was the first time I rode at all. Full stop was at the photo shoot, and again I wasn't planning on racing 2 weeks later, but I started riding, kind of just curious to see how it was going to be without a foot that worked. But the worst part of that whole year was walking the track because I had no control of my ankle. So
I remember seeing videos. You keep falling over up fountains and rocks and that.
I just roll my ankle every 3 steps. So I just constantly have a ballooned ankle because it would just roll constantly.
Have you ever been in a situation, Tom, where you've caused an injury?
But when I've hurt someone else?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
On the bike,
in the pits. Yeah. I actually have, thinking about this, I have. So I used to ride for this company called Trio Vescandito, right? And this car salesman, he worked at the dealership. Just this nice old guy. He rode for fun. He'd be at Pala, which is our local motocross track here in California. He'd be at Pala on a Tuesday riding, go back to work. Rookie year 2010, I'm doing a moto and I'm on pro circuit. I'm 18 years old and I'm just racing the clock, whatever, practicing. And I come off this jump and, I scrub it a bit and he gets a little cross-rutted. I don't know. I was just locked in the zone. Come around the next lap and he's laid out. He's pretty laid out. Come around the next lap and he's really laid out. There's more people surrounding him. I'm like, oh no, I hope I don't cause
stopped at this point. Still racing the clock.
I didn't actually know that I hit him in the air. So come around again. The ambulance is at the It's not funny.
You still don't know that this is you that's caused this crash. You don't.
I didn't know it was me. I thought he crashed on his own.
You still scrubbing the jump, or have you started to roll it at this point?
Me? Yeah, I'm rolling it. I'm rolling it at this point.
Oh, so your lap time to drop.
Yeah. So the ambulance is at the side of the track. Poor bloke got a bit sketchy as I passed off the jump, and I scrubbed it, which didn't help. Rear wheel hit his front wheel, and he had a big one. And like I said, he's just rides for fun. He rides the bike quite well as well. He might have done more, but it was a long time ago. But that's the only injury I think that I've caused.
Can't actually think of a day where I've gone out and scrubbed it into someone on purpose. But in a race situation, yeah, I just can't think of one.
What about first turn pileup? You ever just caused a big first turn pileup?
Well, I nearly
going
did
in,
that.
man?
I was actually going to say that. I nearly did a couple of weeks ago at the VMX when we was racing Filthy Phil.
Taking that vintage race far too seriously, like his all do.
The whole lineup, and I finally got a start, and I jammed in so hot. And Townley had come in from the outside. I don't know. Well, I do know I'd got a start because he'd packed his gate in for 40 minutes, halfway up the start straight, which was an illegal activity he was participating in to get this start. And anyway, he was coming in at such an angle that I basically hit him, like T-boned him. Not that I meant to, but he was come from so far. He was swept in the start. But to get to him, I'd almost like knocked Phil and a couple of others. I don't know how I got it so wrong, my breaking point. But anyway, yeah, I nearly caused the first turn pileup. Well, I did cause the first turn pileup.
Tom, here's a good question: is why? What do you think the reason is that a lot of top guys hide their injuries?
I guess people hide them. One, if they're in a championship battle, obviously they don't want people to know about it. And I think for the competition.
Do you think that makes a difference, though? Because I don't think I do.
No, I don't feel like it makes a difference either. But
I think, if anything, it makes you feel like gives you more of something to chew on.
I don't think it gives the other riders a heads up, like, oh, he's got an injury, I'm going to beat him. Like, it almost, I don't believe that. Like, I don't think that's the reason people would hide an injury. I'm not really sure. I guess they got different reasons. Sometimes a lot of bike cuts out, and then people don't want to say what happened.
Yeah,
like you've had
too.
that a few times.
I never really understood it either, but after so many years, and even if you just do let it out that you do have an injury, and team managers start to get a little bit of hold of, man, this guy does have a lot of reoccurring injuries, and it can ruin your value a little bit. You know, your stock. You know, you can have a good stock, but you know, even if you're still racing but you're injured, they're still going to take that into accountability if they're thinking of signing you. You know, like for me, I was injured a lot, so I only got 1 year contract. So it was really hard for me every year to prove my worth to get another year contract. So it was like, you know, it was stressful. I'll tell you that much.
But also a lot of yours were from bike malfunctions. So other people would be like, oh, Dean got injured again. He crashes a lot. And then in reality, the bike's broke. You've blown your knee out or you've done your shoulder. I remember multiple occasions that's happened. It's such a bad look on you, and you can't really explain
it's tough,
yourself.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's very tough. You know, like you say with the team, and you know, you have a bike malfunction, and that makes the team look bad. And if you say something, which I have in the past, you know, I've just said what's happened, and then they're really upset with you, and the manufacturer's
it's like a no-win
upset
situation.
Yeah, you're making the manufacturer look bad, but I'm laying in the hospital. I'm not getting paid now. I'm injured. I'm out. But it's really tough as a racer, and it's also tough for the team as well because they want the rider out there, and parts break. I mean, that's just the way it goes. You know, it's not bulletproof, but it is tough when you're getting all the comments and everything like, oh, he's injured again. Oh man, this guy's always injured. Like, yeah, if you only knew the actual truth on how I got injured, you know, and it happens a lot more than what people know, even the factory guys at the top level.
It's another thing which I think people probably don't realize is like the stress you go through the day and the day after once you get injured, when you're like, I need to get a scan immediately. Like they're like panic going on. You're like, I need to find a doctor now. I need to find an MRI scan now. And like the chaos like that athletes go through within like the first 2-3 days of being injured, I think is something which is probably not that well documented, but probably quite eye-opening for most people. Like what goes on in our minds.
I done that with Dean. Don't you remember when I blew my knee out in America, and now I'm calling Dean? Where can I go? He's a knee specialist. So Dean sent me to, was it Dr. Greenbaum? Was that the name?
Kramer.
Dr. Kramer. So then I end up at his house in Newport Beach, and then luckily he operated on me a couple of days later. But I was panicking going to Dean,
and a lot of it too, like you might be actually okay, but a lot of it's just peace of mind in it, just to know, all right, it's torn, it's not torn. It's more peace of mind, so you can just carry on, and like you don't want to be doing stuff to give it more damage. You know, it's just your anxiety's through the roof after an injury for sure.
The urgency to have a scan booked, or just knowing there's a scan booked, like you're going at this time is a relief. You're like on the like trying to deal with secretaries and just like, no, you don't understand the urgency of this situation. Like when I did my knee last year, I got the team mechanics to drop me off at the APC in Austria, and I had a scan immediately, but then I had to wait like a full day for their knee doctor to give us like a other radiologist report. And like in the meantime, spoke to one in Italy, I spoke to RJ, and I spoke to the one in Tennessee. Like I literally had like 3 other ones on the phone because like this, that you just need answers like as soon as possible. It's wild.
That was like last year. I raced Perth World Supercross, and my mate Vince cleaned me out. Didn't even hear him coming. And when I fell, like I went like that and popped my shoulder, and I had a race the next weekend, so I went straight to the same thing on a flight the next day to Brisbane in Australia. The doctor was amazing there. MRI scans, torn labrum, and I'm like, oh, I've done my labrum at least 4 times. I've had a shoulder recos. I'm just like, I just do not want to go through that. And he told me at the time, I couldn't even lift my arm up. Like it was stuck to my side like this. Like if it felt like I did this, it was going to pop out. And he says, no, do some exercises, tape it up, get a shot. You can race this weekend. I'm like, there's no chance. Like this thing's going to pop out first jump. So sure enough, I show up Saturday at Melbourne, and I had this thing so taped up. I had to like lift my hand on the bars. And the first is a triple crown, of course. So like there was like 3 races I had to do. And the first 2, I was very cautious. Anytime I clicked, it was like this that was the problem. So like if I cased the jump and did this, I was scared it was going to pop out. So I always kept my elbows like tight. And then the last race, I just let go. I said, if it goes, it goes. And I went, and I almost got the win in the last race. But it was crazy to think 4 days before I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to get a shoulder reco, get it, get it fixed properly. So I went, usually I'm always a surgery guy, but the stage I'm in my career and the races I had scheduled, I was like, I'm not going to get it fixed this time. And I just rehabbed it, and I managed to still race the UK Arena Cross and everything like that. The length it took for my shoulder to feel normal again was literally the same length as if I would have got surgery, but I could still keep racing and doing what I had to do.
All right, then. That's been episode 1. I think we'll wrap it up. Leave in the comments your worst injury, and we will see you next week. Thanks, boys.
See you, boys. Thanks for having me.
Bye.